Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. Today is Thursday, so hopefully you guys are having a good trading week so far. My name is Becky. My email address is there, becky@tradictive.com. There's also these disclaimers that we just need to cover, so let's just make sure that those are being highlighted there on the screen. There we go. So of course important legally to understand the disclaimers, but also to understand that the type of videos that we do are demonstrations. It's up to you if you want to take it on board, if you want to ignore it, if you want to do something in between. Ultimately up to you as a trader to decide what works best for you. So there's a link there, it says tradewithufos.com/Becky, which is this link here. Let me just bring that up. So, oh, I did have it. There it is. Just bring it out here. There we go. So that is the link that I was showing you there. So this will bring you to this page. And at this bit here, you can set yourself up with a free Trade with UFOs membership. With that, you'll get the email that I'm about to go through every day. You'll get recordings of our YouTube sessions, reminders for our YouTube sessions. And best thing about it, I think, is you can come down here, sign in and ask a question in a public setting, and then we answer it in a public setting. So everybody learns from each other. It might be that a question you have, somebody else has already asked, in which case you can just come down here and find the answer. It may be that the question you have is new, in which case you're doing somebody else a favour by putting it on the public area. Now, of course, you can email becky@tradictive.com if you'd like, but we would prefer it all public. So like I said, other people can learn from the questions and answers as well. Okay, so let's bring up what we just saw here. So let's bring up the email. That's what it's called. It's an email. We send an email out every day, or Monday to Friday, and it has information for 5 of the major world markets. Now we call it a 3D approach because, you probably guessed it, we look at 3 different things. So first thing we look at is market climate, meaning where is the upcoming market direction? Is it up or down? Should we buy or sell? Should we go long or short? Or perhaps there's not enough probability either way, in which case we do nothing. And we'll see if we have examples of that today. Now, in order to help us figure out the answer to that question, should we buy or sell, we use an app that runs through market data for us and comes back and shows us where the probabilities lie, up, down, or nowhere. The app is called AutoClimate. It's a free app on most platforms. Once you have your Trade with UFOs membership, you can download this one for free. Now, the way it shows us, what I want you to do is just ignore the lines and just look at the dots for now. Now we have thick blue dots. That tells us probability is up. We have thick red dots. That tells us probability is down. And then we have thin dots. They're a little bit harder to see, but kind of for a reason. Thin dots of either color. They tell us not enough probability, do nothing. So it's a very easy interpretation. We just look for thick blue dots, thick red dots, or thin of either color. And then we know what we should be looking to do. Buy, sell, or do nothing. So we use AutoClimate for that first one. Then we need to know if we're going to buy, where are we going to buy? If we're going to sell, where are we going to sell? Where do we have the higher probabilities, and where do we have limited reward and limited risk and bigger reward? Now we do that by finding unfilled orders, otherwise known as buy and sell UFOs. Now unfilled orders basically means that in the markets we have, and what I'm going to do is just squidge price a little bit here so we can see it a little bit better. In the markets we have buy orders that are waiting to push price up. We have sell orders that are waiting to push price down. So in theory, price hits a sell order or a stack of sell orders and moves down. Or price hits a stack of buy orders and moves up. So again, we use an app here, our AutoUFO app, to show us where these stacks of buy and sell orders are. And it will tell us on the side what the prices are, exactly what the prices are. So we know exactly between which 2 prices we have a stack of buy orders or a stack of sell orders that are likely to move price in their given directions. So again, it's another app that we use, technology, to help us be as objective as we can be. And we use UFOs for understanding our entries and exits. And then the last thing we look at, let's just highlight this again, is market volatility. That gives us an idea of the risk to reward available, or the risk and reward that's likely to happen. Volatility essentially means how quickly something moves. So if it moves a lot, that can increase the risk, which could also increase the reward. If it doesn't move very much, it's a reduced reward, but it's also a reduced risk. So it's up to you as a trader to decide what you'd rather have. Would you rather have increased risk and potentially increased reward? Or would you rather limit your reward but decrease your risk? Neither answer to that is right or wrong. It's up to you as a trader to decide what makes you feel best so that you consistently act on it rather than change your approach all the time. So those are the 3 things we're going to go into, and we're going to go into them on 5 different markets. So first things first is the S&P. Now we are looking at futures, continuous futures contracts for these markets on daily charts. Essentially for the S&P, we are looking at a representation of US stocks. Now, for US stocks, we have a confirmed downwards climate because we have a thick red dot, probability to the downside. Now, usually this market goes down for 3 candles, and we're on candle number 2. So that tells us that statistically speaking, we have probability of a move down for another day or so, and then we're likely to see price change. Now, of course, we can fall short of what normally happens. We can go past what normally happens. So it's not exactly always going to happen that way. It just gives us an idea of what's more likely to happen. So overall with this, what's most likely is that we have another move down for another day or so before price turns. But of course, we will see. Now, when it comes to buy and sell orders, we have sell orders up here at 41.79.50 to 41.36.50. And then we have buy orders here at 39.83.75 to 39.33.75. Price is closer to the sell orders, which means again more likely to hit the sell orders and be pushed back down again. So overall, probability there to the downside when it comes to the S&P top US 500 stocks. Now when it comes to volatility, in 1 year the S&P would move up or down of 22.98%. which means in 1 day, up or down of 59.26 points. In 1 week, up or down of 130.45 points. And in 1 month, up or down of 271.55 points. So that's the volatility that we'd expect on the S&P. Now these are movements up or down, and obviously we use our climate and UFOs to help us figure out in which direction that's more likely to happen. For the short term here, more probability to the downside there with the S&P. Okay, let's move on to the next market, which is oil. In the meantime, it will say there about the looking to educate yourself in the different courses that we do. Check out the different courses that we do. We do them in stocks, forex, futures, backtesting, trading plans, psychology. Now, most of our courses come with 3 months of free access to the apps. So AutoClimate is free on most platforms, but AutoUFOs is a paid-for app. Depending on which platform you use, depends on how much it costs. On TradingView, which is the one I'm using now, it's $34 per month. Now, a lot of the courses that include 3 months worth of access to the apps are a one-off fee of $34 or a one-off fee of $89. So if you do the maths on that, it's cheaper to access the apps by getting a course and getting 3 months access to those to the apps from the course. Now you might not want to do that. You might just want to subscribe directly to the apps and not do the course at all. I'm saying even if you did want to do that, subscribing to a course might give you at least a cheaper way of accessing the apps initially. Okay, so oil, we have a confirmed downwards climate again. Probability downwards, thick red dot there. Usually this market goes down for 7 candles and we're on candle number 1. So that tells us that based on what usually happens, we have probability of a continuous move to the downside for a few days. Again, not to say that will happen, just to say it's more likely to happen. When it comes to buy and sell UFOs, we have sell orders here at 67.02 to 64.14. And then we have buy orders here at 60.77 to 58.73. So at the moment, we're kind of in between them. We're at 62.65 at the moment. So not close to either stack necessarily. We could hit either one of them. But overall probability to the downside when it comes to the climate. Bear in mind, if price hits these buy orders, it's likely to push price up. So that may compete with the climate depending on what's hit first. So we'll see. Now just to show you here how UFOs work. We had this UFO here. Price came down. Hit that top line, meaning it hit the first stack of buy orders there and it went up That's exactly what we expect buy UFOs to do, is push price up. So we want to know exactly, using those prices, exactly where that's likely to happen, so we know when to buy and when to sell. So we get in when we have probability of price going up from that point. Or if we're selling, we get in at sell UFO where we have probability of price going down from that point. Now, crude oil market volatility, in 1 year, it would move 38.82%, which means in 1 day, up or down of 1.52 points. In 1 week, up or down of 3.35 points. In 1 month, up or down of 6.97 points. So overall probability there to the downside with oil, and that's the type of movement that we would expect usually. Okay, moving on to the next market, which is gold. As it says there, you can subscribe directly to the apps if you'd like to. Again, tend to be cheaper as part of a course, as part of that package, but you can enroll straight for the apps if you'd like to, the UFOs. Okay, so gold, we have confirmed upwards climate, thick blue dot, probability upwards. Now, this is an example of where we've gone past what is usual. So usually this market goes up by 7 candles, or up for 7 candles. I know it says 6.1, but you can't have 0.1 of a candle, so I'm rounding it up to the next whole number. So it normally goes up for 7 candles, and we're on candle number 13, meaning we've gone nearly twice as much past what is usual when it comes to the movements in this market. Now, we could continue with that. Bear in mind, the further it goes past what's normal, the less likely it is to happen. So yes, we still have probabilities up, not as many as we'd like to because we've gone past what's usual. But when it comes to buy and sell UFOs, we've got a little way to go here before we hit the stack of sell orders, which is 1929.6 to 1907.5. We have buy orders beneath us at 1847.1 to 1808.4. So again, if price were to come down and hit this stack of buy orders, we'd expect it to go up from there. If it hits this stack of sell orders, that might be what changes this climate and sort of resets it back to the way it should be at the moment, which is either unconfirmed or down, based on the fact that we've gone way past what is usual. So overall, if I confused you there, overall probability to the upside still, but not as strong as we would like it to be. When it comes to volatility, we expect in a year a movement of 17.79%, which means in a day 20.94 points up or down. In a week, 46.09 points up or down. And in 1 month, 95.94 points up or down. Again, overall probability to the upside with gold, although again, like I said, not as strong as we would like it to be. Now, just to say here, we offer coaching and support. You're probably watching this on YouTube or Facebook, and we do a whole bunch of things for free online via those mediums. Stocks, futures, forex, options, methodology sessions, psychology sessions that we do all the time throughout the month. So you can access us for free and learn for free. Now, we also have a closed coaching community, which is $21 per month, where you get access to more of our time in a closed environment. So again, up to you to decide which one works best for you. Okay, next market here. Let's just scroll that down. Next market is the US dollar. Now, the US dollar is responsible for 80% of transactions worldwide every single day. Be aware of it. Even if you don't trade it, even if you don't trade currency pairs with it, it will affect all of the other markets that we've looked at and then some, so be aware. So with the US dollar, we have a confirmed downwards climate, thick red dot there, probability downwards. Usually the market goes down for 6 candles, and we're on candle number 4, which tells us we still have probability for continuous move down at least for a couple of days. However, let's be aware of our buy and sell UFOs. So we have buy orders here, 89.795 to 89.165. This UFO has already worked. Price came into it at this point, hit that stack of buy orders and went up from there. It's come back in now, hit it there, and gone up again, albeit only a little bit. So we've had buying pressure come into the market, already working at least a little bit. So yes, we have probability downwards, but we've just hit a stack of buy orders. So we've got 2 competing forces going on at the moment. Selling coming in from the climate, buyers coming in from the UFO. We'll have to see who wins that. Closest stack of sell orders is here, 90.91 to 90.575. So if price were to come up and hit the stack of sell orders, we would expect a continuous move down. If it hits these buy orders again, it might push it back up again. So again, like I said, bear in mind, we've got two competing forces going on at the moment. Recent buy orders come into an overall downwards climate. I would wait and see who wins before I get involved personally. So market volatility, in 1 year, we'd expect movement of 6.46%, which means in a day, 0.37 points up or down. In a week, that's 0.81 points up or down. And in 1 month, 1.68 points up or down. Okay, so let's take a look at the last market, which is backed Bitcoin. Here we go. Now, obviously, Bitcoin has been a little bit crazy recently. A lot of high volatility in this market. That's true normally anyway. With cryptocurrencies, they tend to be a lot more volatile. So we should be aware of that anyway. But obviously, the nature of this market means that it's also very reactive, maybe very sensitive to news. So that can increase the volatility as well. Not a good or a bad thing. Volatility can be great if you're on the right side of it. It can be horrible if you're on the wrong side of it. Again, it's just up to you to decide what you want to do with it. So with Bitcoin, no surprise here, we have a confirmed downwards climate, probability downwards, thick red dot there. Now, in terms of understanding, let's just highlight that again, in terms of understanding how long that usually happens, we don't actually have any data on that. Why? Because it's a newish market. We don't have enough daily candles over a long enough period of time to say this usually happens, this doesn't usually happen. Kind of in the dark there. At the moment, we're on the 6th candle to the downside. Now, buy and sell UFOs. We have buy orders here at 27,782.5 to 22,910. So a little way below us there, quite a way below us, considering current price is at 42,000-ish. We have sell orders closer to us at 51,782.5 to 46,807.5. So we would expect, if price was to hit this stack of sell orders, that price would continue to go down. It may be that it continues to go down, hits this stack of buy orders and turns back up. In fact, we had buy orders round about here anyway, which is where price did turn from. So when it comes to Bitcoin at the moment, probability to the downside still in our climate, and we're closer to a stack of sell orders. So overall probability down, but again, bear in mind about the volatility. In 1 year, we'd expect movement up or down of 121.72%. Compare that to the US dollar, which is 6-point-something% we'd expect. It's a lot of movement, which again, if you're on the right side of that, great. If you're on the wrong side of that, not so great. This means in 1 day, we'd expect movement up or down of 3,088.53. In 1 week, up or down of 6,799.07. And in 1 month, up or down of 14,153.40. So lots of movement in that market, not necessarily good or bad, interpret it as you will. Just be aware of it before you get involved. Okay, so speaking of volatility, we can also understand from scheduled reporting. This is high impact scheduled reporting. Depending on which markets we trade, we can also filter by which markets we trade if we go to this link, which is fxstreet.com/economic-calendar. With that, we can have a look at the high impact news that's likely to cause volatility in these markets. So let's say, for example, today is Thursday. This morning, let's just get rid of these so we can see. This morning, we've had news on the euro that might have impacted the euro currency or stocks in Europe or related commodities. And later on today, in the evening, US time, we would have news on the Australian dollar. So again, that could affect the Australian dollar, could affect the stocks, it could affect commodities. So again, you can use this economic calendar to have an idea of the volatility that's likely to happen. Now, if you have any questions or you're confused about anything, you can go to tradewithufos.com/Becky, get yourself a free Trade with UFOs membership at the top. Then you can ask a question down here in public, so I can answer it in public and everybody gets the answer. You can email me, becky@tradictive.com. And there's also, in fact, let's do that. There's also this as well. You can self-schedule a clarification call there, speak with somebody about which apps or courses or memberships are going to be best for you, if anything, and talk it through with somebody. Anything else, guys? Like I said, you can email us or ask a question on tradewithufos.com/Becky. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great trading day today, I'll be back tomorrow morning, so we'll see you then.